we want people to come to Africa to experience the hospitality, the wild adventures, and the memories that would last a lifetime.
When a novice traveler first hears a mention of the continent of Africa, they associate their impending travel with negative experiences and the narratives that they've most often been fed. There's one woman who hopes to change that. Clara Chinwe Okoro, the founder and COO of My Beautiful Africa. It's lovely to have you here on the show. So My Beautiful Africa seems like a really great concept. Can you tell me what was the reason why you came behind it? And what is your vision for the brand going forward?
All right. So basically, it was on a trip I had to Gambia in 2014. Okay. And I was in my studio apartment one evening, and I decided to just take a stroll, around the vicinity of where I was staying. And there was so much beauty around me. And, it was a surreal moment. And I said to myself, we only get the back end of Africa, the bad stick. People talk about the poverty, the wars and everything. But there's so much beautiful landscapes around if people, cared to take the time to look around them. And I decided, okay, I'm going to create a different perception about Africa. Okay. And
I'm just clarifying, you were on vacation at that point of time, or were you somewhere at home?
It was a female conference I went to, but it's what we call leisure. So I took a bit of vacation after the conference.
Okay. So, and what is your vision for the brand going forward?
So it's something that evolved over time. I figured, we're moving into the fourth industrial revolution in the world, and technology is going to become mainstream. So I took a niche, which is to use technology to drive tourism in Africa. Because obviously, there's some remote parts of Africa that people don't even know exist. But if you put them in the digital space, even if it's through virtual reality or, augmented reality, people would get to know their places like that, and it would help flourish tourism.
Okay, that's great. So can you tell me a little more about this travel technology, the concept that you are using?
Okay, so this is the fourth year. It came to me as an idea that a lot of millennials, a lot of young people love adventures. And, what we know about Africa with the rich and wealthy people where they came for safaris in East Africa and South Africa.
Yes.
But, young people want to see Victoria Falls, but they like to do it with their GoPro cameras, with their pictures, taking selfies and posting, real time. And we said to ourselves, there is a niche called travel technology, but it's more pronounced in the West, in Europe, in the Americas, in countries like yours, India, Asia, and the rest of them. But Africa still hasn't gotten the grip of it. And once you introduce technology into the matrix, it will change the whole dynamics, and it will make our continent more, more competitive.
That's wonderful. Okay, so can you tell me how one would go about availing your services? For example, I'm one of your potential clients. So how would I start the process, and how would it go on? Can you tell me a little more about that?
Okay, so we also act as travel consultants, in that sector. And what we do is you tell us what your brief is. If, for instance, you want to come on vacation to Zanzibar. And we take your brief. And
I'll tell you what I want, and you can pitch your vacation to me. So I want to basically relax. I want luxury. And I'm traveling with my husband who wants all the wildlife experiences. So what would I do?
Okay, so we begin with your itinerary, and what we do is introduce all the technology gadgets that will make it a memorable one, from your Google Maps, to your Waze, to give you directions, to your GoPro cameras, to your timers, your Apple wristwatch that will tell you if you want to take joggings in the morning and all that, to your health tracker, to your location tracker as well, so your family knows where you are at every point in time. So once we do your itinerary, we recommend all these gadgets for you as well as a client.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. So what location would you pitch to me in Africa? For me, I want luxury and relaxation. My husband wants all the wildlife experiences.
So, to be brutally honest, I think East Africa will offer you all that. Yes, Zanzibar, Seychelles, Maldives, yes.
And that's great. That's wonderful. Okay. Next, I just wanted to ask you about Africa has still struggling to get out of the bad rep that it has in terms of safety. So how are you all as a brand trying to reassure a potential client about the safety of this entire service?
So it's a huge problem, and I must admit, yes, it's one of the challenges that we face as travel consultants in Africa. There are definitely pockets of places where security is a major issue, but it still doesn't deter the adventurous tourists. What we then do is charge a little bit more to provide security, and so we get private security outfits to go with our clients to wherever they want to go, make sure that they are safe within their stay. Yes.
That's great. Okay, so we've spoken about this one small negative point. Can you tell me, as a country, as a continent actually, Africa, what do you believe are its true strengths to a tourist?
To me, there are basically two: the culture and the adventure. I mean, the wild landscape is just, I don't think you can get it anywhere else. When you watch the migration of the wild beasts towards the year in September, it's so surreal. You can't believe a place on that throbs with such energy. It's simply amazing. If you get the landscape going in terms of capturing its wildness, that's what draws a lot of people to Africa.
Okay, that's great. So can you tell me a little about the cultural experiences that one could avail when they are going to Africa?
Oh, there's so many of it. There are 54 countries in Africa. And in my country alone, in Nigeria, we have over 482 cultures, different cultures.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. So,
that's useful.
In our clothing, our food, our music, it's just a plethora of so many things that is so colorful. You get lost in it, wondering, which is the next one that is coming. The culture, the marriages, the way it's conducted. It's a thriving culture, very colorful.
Okay, that's great. So one thing I wanted to ask is, how do you all ensure environmentally responsible travel and tourism? Because that is another concern that people have, like especially with poaching and all of those issues. How do you ensure environmentally responsible tourism?
So the non-profits are doing the best they can, but it's still not enough. You would agree with me that Africa does really house a lot of natural resources, huge amounts of them. And so poaching and illegal falling of deforestation and so many other things are highly on the rise in Africa because of these resources and what they serve purposes for in businesses. You have illegal means by which people try to obtain them. So you get the non-profits who are being funded internationally to be able to combat this. But I can assure you, poaching is really high tech and it's funded by very powerful people globally. And in this regard, it makes it very difficult to totally, get it out of the way.
So I'd love to know more about the Tourism and Technology Summit that you all conduct. That seemed very interesting to me.
All right. So the Tourism and Technology Summit is our vision to utilize technology to globally transform African tourism industry. And what we do is we invite the big techs, the big technology companies to participate. For instance, Google is huge, but they have Google Travel and they're competing effectively with Google Travel. So what we do is bring resource people from Google Travel to come talk to our delegates about what's the latest travel technologies what contactless hotels are in the making because of COVID-19 pandemic and all that. So what we try to do every year is give it a different face. For this year, for instance, we're thinking of going to a beach resort, the kind of thing you have in San Francisco, in Silicon Valley, and just get a bit of tech enthusiasts. And then we get somebody to come talk to us about NFTs, the metaverse, and how Africa can keep in with its culture and begin to trade, such tokens in the metaverse. And such things can really generate a lot of, goodwill for Africa.
That's great. So since you mentioned COVID, I want to ask about the impact that the pandemic has had on your business, if any.
It was a truly challenging 2 years, 2019, 2020, and then we tried getting back on our feet in 2021. It's not been, easy, but, we figured challenges are part of opportunities. And what it did to us was, we began to think vertically and began to look at.
So since you mentioned the pandemic, I want to know, is there any impact that the pandemic has had on your business?
Absolutely. You would agree with me that the travel sector had one of the highest that suffered setbacks with the COVID-19 pandemic. And in our own case, it was truly, truly very challenging. 2 years, 2019, 2020, we almost went bankrupt. But, as a business, you have to be very rugged. And we tried coming back in 2021. And what we did was to pivot into doing other things. And we began to look at other packages we could sell to people aside of our travel vacation and our consultancy business as a travel tech company. And that gave rise to the new business now that we're going to launch an SaaS platform, that software as a solution platform, very soon. And it was because of COVID-19. Now people can go on our platform when they're coming into the continent and look for any technology that will make their travel very seamless.
That sounds amazing. So I think you all took a different direction because of the pandemic, and hopefully that will see a lot of traction soon.
Exactly.
And that's great. That's wonderful. Ismart Africa is another initiative from your end, I believe. Can you give me more details about this?
Okay, so that's what I just talked about a few seconds ago. It's an SaaS platform. And the whole idea is we'll build a platform built by Africans for Africa. Because the idea arose the fact that a lot of African businesses listed on big platforms like Booking.com, TripAdvisor, and the rest of the big guns complain that by the time the business gets to the final stage for the owner of the hotel, the margins are very low because of the commissions given to them as businesses. And so we said, okay, we could bridge that gap. We will build a platform in the continent where you can come on, and anyone from anywhere in the world coming into Africa can directly book from our platform. And then, yes, your margins are higher and it's not going to affect their businesses in any way. So we said, okay, Ismart Africa is going to be one of its kind, building a platform with all the necessary tools for those that are operating in the travel and tourism industry to make it a lot more seamless for them to find the technologies that will make their businesses more competitive.
Okay. So, it seems like a win-win for all parties, for a potential client as well as a business, and for yours. Okay, so wellness is another one of your passions, I believe. So can you tell me about Avila Natural? I believe it's a natural skin and food supplement brand.
Okay, yeah, wellness is very huge on the radar for me because I think with the coming of technology, a lot of the time we get stressed out without understanding that we need to detox. And then Africa is home to so many plants and natural, ingredients that could actually align with your body chemistry without dislocating it. So what we did was look for a company that manufactured, chemical-free products that were not harmful to people and to nature itself. And instead of us doing a whole gamut of producing, we decided to represent them. So our dream is a happy, healthy, traveling tourist in Africa using the best organic products to make themselves feel relaxed and at home.
Okay, that's great. And so another aspect of this would be the food that people will eat. A very big part of the experience would be the food that they eat. So can you tell me, just give me a little snapshot into food especially from where you are, Nigeria, and what one could expect and what, palate should we come with?
Yes. Okay, because I'm a big foodie and that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, even I'm a big foodie. I'm a self-admitted. Oh, jollof rice.
Yeah. And it's a huge contentious issue in Africa. We believe Nigerian jollof is the best because it's spicy rice, with a bit of stew, and the sauce is made with a lot of cayenne pepper. That's is a bit hot,
spicy.
When you use it for sauce. So jollof rice is one of Nigeria's biggest exports. Then you have the soups. You have in the four areas in Nigeria, have the north, the east, the west, the south. And so in my own part, which is eastern Nigeria, we have different soups, and we call it in my native language, ofe. And so, yes, it's made normally with a lot of vegetable and beef, like a sauce. And then we eat it with what you call gari. Gari is made with cassava. Yes. And the wonderful thing is, it's been now, a viral video online where people taste it and now like, oh my God, this is really lovely.
That's nice. I can see. I can see how your face lit up. Okay, I can see how your face lit up when I asked you a question about your business and now about food.
It's a beautiful part of Africa, and a lot of people actually come to Africa for the food. Because the soil is still very, untainted with chemicals. So it still produces a lot of organic food that still retains the natural taste.
That's amazing. Wonderful. I'm waiting to come there and just go crazy eating everything. Awesome. So what is your favorite travel destination within all of Africa? What is one place that you can't get out of your mind?
I would say Zanzibar.
Okay.
It's a lovely, quaint place, and I think it's a cross between the old elegance and the new elegance, because there are some places in Africa that still retains those very lovely old traditions and really, really nice. And I think that's what it represents to me.
Okay. One thing I noticed is about the Kafans that you all do. So is this part of the experience that one could avail? And can you tell me a little more about this as well?
Okay, so I'm a basic creative person at heart. And what I tried to do was have a whole 360-degree experience for my tourists when they come in. So we have a range, it's called the Zola Kaftans.
Zola.
And what I try to do is recommend it as an appropriate clothing for the weather, because it's warm and it's hot sometimes. So you need to wear something very loose that will make you feel comfortable. Exactly. So that's how we came about it. And a lot of our clients love it because they're colorful, they're free. And if you're a bohemian at heart, you go with your hat, your sunglasses, and your kaftan. And that's the, typical tourist.
Look, that's nice. So I'm sure that these would come in like those amazing African prints. I don't know what they're called. I'm so sorry about that. But in those beautiful prints, I love those colors. They're so vibrant.
Yeah, they're called adire.
Okay, interesting. I'm learning something.
And it's fascinating because it's actually become an international fashion accessory. They use it for furniture. They use it to make bags. They use it to make earrings. They use it to make shoes. It's it's very lovely because those patterns are works of art. So they tell a story when they're utilized to make all these things.
Correct. Beautiful. Like even I love jewelry, and I think this is something that my dad got me when he had traveled to Africa. So I have quite a few African pieces. So I thought I'll reserve one for this interview.
Awesome.
Okay. So can you tell me, what does success look like to you? What would you believe to be the definition of success?
Okay, so for some of us who are basically creatives at heart, it's not the material things, it's experience, you know. So what I try to do is to balance my innovative mind with my creative mind. Yeah, I need to make the money, but I need to be balanced in living the life I want. So success to me means that I take my well-being very seriously, my mental health, my health, yes, and my relationships with people very seriously. So I invest in all that. In the process of making money, I don't believe one should overlap the other. So it's always like finding a balance for that success to me.
That's wonderful. That's an amazing answer, especially coming now during the pandemic. Everyone's having different mental health issues. I mean, we've all learned to prioritize it. So yeah, it's a great answer.
Thank you.
Okay, so last question. How can I get in touch with you to book my trip for Africa?
All right, so our websites are there, www.mybeautifulafrica.co, and then for travel, tourism and technology, www.tourismandtechnologysummit.com. So all you need to get in touch with us, our details and everything are on those two websites.
Okay, great. Is there anything that you'd like to add that we may have missed out during the interview?
Well, I think it's really something that a lot of people should begin to deconstruct their minds about Africa, that it's not just a continent filled with hunger, with deprivation, with poverty. That has been over the years the perception. A younger generation of Africans are coming up who are tech savvy, who are hardworking, who wants to make a difference. And we want people to come to Africa to experience the hospitality, the wild adventures, and the memories that would last a lifetime.
And that's wonderful. I think from being from India, even we can draw parallels with the way how a lot of people interpret India. It's, I think, the same way. They look at us like a poor country filled with slums, but that's not actually the case. There's so much we can offer, and I feel like Africa is all that and sometimes even more in terms of some of the experiences you'll offer.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, because perception is very powerful.
Very true. Yeah. So I think you just taken the stories that have been told to you by someone else who never got to experience it yourself. It's only when you get a chance to experience it, you'll realize the real beauty of the continent. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity and support.